Hello, and welcome to this week's Monday Roundtable, where we dive into real conversation shaping women entrepreneurs. Today, we'll explore the importance of community and how building connections with other women can empower us to thrive in business. We'll also unpack the latest science on cognitive fatigue, revealing why understanding mental exhaustion is crucial for maintaining productivity and preventing burnout. Plus, we'll break down why women often struggle with imposter syndrome and why talking about money in business is essential for our growth and our success. Just a quick reminder, really fast. Emily Tassoni, for those of you that know her, we are hosting an all women's business retreat coming up this April. We would love for you to attend if you are a woman in business and you're looking to get your business to the next level. We would love for you to join us. You can screenshot the screen right there and check out the pricing, check out the rooms, and how amazing that will be. All right, we have a full house today listening live. Welcome, women entrepreneurs, first-generation trailblazers. We meet every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, streaming live. We talk about topics that are shaping our entrepreneurial journey in order to empower you to make smarter, bolder decisions in your business. I want to just introduce everyone really fast. We have Debbie Ropo, if you want to wave your hand. Yes, we have Kat Polsinelli. Yes, Camille Miller. And Michelle Drew. All right. I love it. Okay, ladies, I did mute you because there was some weird background noise. So just be cognizant of that when you want to speak, just unmute yourself. So the very first thing that I want to share, I am so freaking excited about this. This is a TikTok. It's a TikTok that I found recently that I just thought was so stinking cute. And I had to share it with everyone here and kind of get your thoughts on it. So let me know if you can hear this. Okay, hang on. Here.
Oh, sorry, Jody, just relax.
Can we hear it?
I'm relaxed. Okay. Relax, I'm reeling in. Mom has a relax.
It's a little long.
You're gonna pull your vagina. Relax. Could you imagine I'm on the bottom? Stop talking. Mom, you got it. Amanda, you take. Are you ready? This way. Amanda, not all on the same side. Just go. Already. Look at the teamwork. Help her. Amanda, so tell me when. I hope it's a sunfish. I'm ready. I gotta be ready. It's cat cow. It's a fighter, Jody. It's a fighter. It's pull the boat. No, it's gonna break my wrist. Are you okay? Come on, Jody. Amanda, I can't see. I'm sorry. Amanda, help her. She'll tell me when she needs help. Come on, Jody. Mom, get in there. Yeah, she's on the bottom. No, she's not. Okay, come on, Jody. Keep going, sweetie. Keep going. It's going to break the wall. I'm trying. You're good. You're good. The narrate. Just turn it off, Chris. Just turn it off, sweetie. I did, guys. Everyone calm down. Judy, you good? Yeah. Keep going. Sweaty. Oh my God, it's a good one, Jody. You got it. Mom, pay attention, Mom. Come on, Mom. Pay attention, Mom. Oh my God. Judy. Mom, give me it. Mom. Judy. Bring it. Don't. Just bring it in towards you. Don't stop, Jody. Don't stop, Jody.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God! You need a picture. Can you hold that? Wait, put the weight thing on it. The hook. Oh my God, Jody! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah! Oh my God, Jody! Oh my God, Jody! Oh my God! No, wait. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm shaking. Just wait a second. Just wait. Okay. Just wait. Okay. Breathe for a second. Mother of fuck. Okay, breathe. Okay, what are you doing? I'm breathing because I have it in my hand. Okay. I need to find the hook. Just a minute. Okay. You need to find the hook. I don't think the hook is in it. The hook's not in it? Then where's the fishing rod? Okay, yeah, it's over here. Okay, Mom, look behind you. Amanda, just lift your,
I just fucking love it so much. Oh my gosh. As soon as I saw this reminded me of H Club so much as far as just the love and the admiration for each other, right? When we hear that each other are winning, like we just had our Monday mastermind this morning and women are talking about their wins. We had this woman, Carolini, who's been in our group for a while now. And she was talking about how she just started running ads on this master class or some sort that she's running. And she was expecting just maybe like 12, 30 so people. And she's had almost 100 people sign up for this master class. And she like can't even believe her mind. She's just like out of her mind. And literally just me watching the entire group, because we do this when we're excited about each other, just watching every single woman on their own, not on my command, not on her command, just on our own, raise our hands and snap in excitement for this woman, the goodness that she's going to be offering to the world, and just how women support each other just so much differently and in my mind better than men do, right? Just like, oh my gosh, like let's weigh it, let's take a picture. Just brought me so much joy. So I would just kind of love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you experienced something like this before, like women coming together? Have you done this for somebody else? Kind of, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I absolutely loved this video. It was so good. And the part that I loved about it was that one woman caught the fish. Mm-hmm. And every single one of them had victory.
Love that.
Right? And it felt so good. It really was something beautiful to watch. I have a story about, I had an event come up and I'm sitting at this table and they were like, hey, go over there if you want to be a speaker. Right? I'm at this Florida Speakers Association event and I'm like, oh no, well, I'm not a real speaker, right? Because I'm just starting out. And I had the Irma Perone, the president of the FSA sitting across from me, and Sunny, my friend, beside. These are two dear friends. And both of them, Debbie, get up there. Oh. Go over there right now. I even got threatened with my life. Like, you go over there. And then this one's shaking her head. I got up and started walking. And I thought just what the support and love and belief that these women, I'm walking around like, okay, well, maybe I'm a speaker. By the time I'm over there, I'm like, I'm a speaker. Yes, right? So just that women in that group, it's life-changing for yourself. And since we're talking business, it's life-changing for your business.
Absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. Great story. Anybody else? What came up for you?
I'll go, Sabrina. What I took away from that is, like, you have taught us in H Club that we are not solopreneurs. And before you come together with community, you kind of are. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But when you come together as a group of women and you support one another, you don't feel alone anymore. You don't feel like a solopreneur. And the success comes along with not being a solopreneur.
Absolutely. Love that. Love the shout out for H Club. Thank you. Who else?
Yeah, I'll share my own personal story, which is so funny that this is happening right now, because I think of, I've been a part of H Club since the beginning, gosh. Yeah. And I literally just reached out to Sabrina, like a couple of nights ago, and was like, girl, I need your brain, right? Like, I need someone to bounce this off of. My poor husband has listened to me talk for umpteenth hours. My kids have listened to me talk. And we're actually talking about this. We were going back and forth on an idea that I've got for this year. And I told Sabrina afterwards, I was like, you know what? I really miss that, because I was a part of H Club. I was a part of these communities. And then life happened, stuff's happened with kids. And so I really backed off of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really miss the ability to have someone that you can bounce ideas off of. And not necessarily that someone is going to just give you all the goodness about it, but like really have a conversation and ask questions to get you thinking about it, but also be there in a supportive aspect as well. And H Club does that phenomenally. But more importantly, Sabrina, for me. And I actually talked with Camille a couple weeks ago as well on the same thing. So, it's really wonderful to see that we can have a community. And I think the biggest thing for me is that women can learn that this is a possibility. You know, I grew up with two younger sisters, but I was always kind of like the tomboy, and I had a really hard time getting along with girls, women, ladies for the longest time. And so H Club was actually the first introduction of like, okay, maybe they do have your back. Maybe they're not going to talk about you behind your back. Like maybe they do have your best interest. And for me, that was really cool to be able to see, so I love seeing that on the TikTok as well, that like we really can be happy for other people and genuinely be joyful yourself because of somebody else's success.
100%. Thank you. Camille, got anything?
I'll chime in. What everyone else said anyway, so there's not a lot more to say, but I think it's a beautiful thing when, you know, women can come together and cheer each other on, not just in business, but this was, you know, so maybe it was their first time fishing, maybe, you know, I don't know what it was, but that's what it seemed like. And they were just witnessing the success of one, right? But they all, like, you saw one with the net, you saw one with the camera, you know, they were all helping out, which I thought was really amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also interesting just to kind of see the dynamic, because everyone is so different, right? There was somebody that was kind of like filming, then there was somebody that was like yelling out directions on like what to do. And then, you know, it was like everyone kind of showed up in the way that they are a teacher, you know, the way that they are, to be able to make that dynamic just so fun and so cool. Love that. Very cool. What a way to open up. All right. So as we all know, as business owners, one of the things that we deal with on I'm going to say daily basis is fatigue, mental exhaustion. What I'm hearing a lot in this world of like where I'm at, you know, Gen Xers predominantly, is this word perimenopause, what that looks like. A lot of that's getting blamed on mental exhaustion, mental fatigue. And so Debbie actually is going to be talking a little bit today, which I'm excited about, on mental exhaustion, ways of which it could be, right? It could be as far as in the brain and what that looks like. So I'd love for her to kind of take over and dissect this a little bit and see what we can pull.
Yeah, this is such a fun article. Myself, being the little scientist that I am, it was so fascinating. But we're not going to go deep because we don't need to. What I'd really like to share is first that this is from Johns Hopkins study, and they examined how cognitive fatigue affects people's willingness to exert mental effort, showing that when people feel mentally exhausted, the brain reassesses whether effort feels worth the cost, even though actual cognitive capacity may still be there, which I found fascinating. And in the article, the part that I kind of want to talk about is that they created fatigue in the brain. And then it tells, you know, which way what part the brain used. We didn't even need to go into that because that's really not what the most important part is, right? Look, I'm functional medicine. I want the root cause. Mm-hmm. So what I really wanted to talk about was that what are your guys' ways? My questions really is, how do you deal with that mental fatigue? When you come up to something and you are done, you don't want to do it and it has to get done. What is your mental fatigue? In the article, it talks about they gave people cash, right? So cash was like the incentive. And that certainly can be an incentive. My curiosity was, I wonder if they would have tested purpose, passion. Ooh. If that piece how would it have looked different? So my question is to you guys, to kind of open up the floor here, is when mental fatigue sets in for you, how do you decide what's still worth your effort and what no longer is?
Ooh, that's good. Camille.
I'll jump in. I think I read the article and then I did some other deep dives on it. I think mental fatigue is because we have so much going. It's not just menopause and perimenopause. It's just so much coming at us at one time now, and digitally, and our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And as business owners, which we all are, we have to do more than what's in our lane of joy, right? We love what we do, but we also have to do other stuff around our business, right? We're HR, we're marketing, we're writing, we're doing all the stuff. And sometimes, at least for me, like I get at the end of my day and I am exhausted, but I also do all of my work on Zoom. So just being on Zoom exhausts me. So for me, I have no Zoom days. Like my Fridays, I don't take Zoom appointments. I might take a phone call, but mostly I don't show up on a Friday. I might work, but I'm not showing up. I'm not getting ready for work. I might put on a pair of sweatpants and my hair in a ponytail, and I could write. If I'm fatigued at the end of the day, it could be going to the gym, taking a walk. It's snowing. I'm in New Jersey. It's snowing. I love the cold and the snow. So for me, even like yesterday, we went out at like 3 p.m. It was snowing and just took a walk.
Yeah.
Right? It's getting out in nature. It's like removing myself from my desk and doing something else. So it's, even though I'm in my passion, and I believe like all of us are working in our passion, it's the digital, the staying in front of our computers all the time. It's all of the other stuff. For me, it's like, okay, now what's for dinner? Did I pay my bills? Or the taxes due? Like it's all of the stuff, right? It's the mental load that's exhausting, which I don't know. There's just so much going on today. And for me, it's reminding myself to get out of the house because I work from home. It's just get out of the house, go do something, go visit somebody.
Yeah.
Camille, I think it was so important, so vital that you pointed out that point about your lane of joy.
Mm-hmm.
As a guru myself, I'm the scientist and the guru, right?
Yeah.
So that we have to think that we're supposed to be in bliss at all times, and that's how,
Totally.
and we have balance, and it's just not reality, right? It's sometimes it's this way and sometimes it's this way, and that struggle and strife and hard doesn't mean bad.
Yep.
Then that's part of growth, and it's part of what you got to do sometimes, and that's okay, right? There's always a line where you want to be conscious of that, but super important that you said that line right there, ma'am.
Yeah, I agree. I was just talking this morning on the Monday Mastermind about this email sequences that I'm diving into heading into 2026. I've got a few, that are kind of like, they're okay, but I'm really diving in this year. Like I got to just get this stuff going. And I'm sitting down and I'm just like, bruh, I do not want to mother F and do any of this bullshit. I cannot. And I'll sit for I'll be like, okay, 30 minutes, just freaking 30 minutes. And I'm literally 2 minutes in and I'm already checking my clock. I'm already just like, has it been, and it's literally been 2 minutes. So to Camille's point, I totally agree. We're in our passion, but we're still doing things that we don't necessarily want to do. And that's part of it. It's part of the transformation that we're making for, whoever our avatar is, whoever our clients are, we're doing the work in order to make a complete transformation for the world, Kat.
I love that you said that. And I want to piggyback off of that, Sabrina, because I am the same way. I will do something I don't want to do. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to spend 30 minutes on it. And I catch myself checking my clock. So my habit actually for that now is I set a timer on my phone and I'm like, okay, I know the timer is there. So I know the timer is going to go off, which is going to give me that 30 minutes. But what's really interesting is when I do that and I'm like, okay, I know it's good. I'm just going to bang through this. I swear it doesn't feel like 30 minutes because my alarm goes off and I'm like, yes. But I find that the more that I look at my clock repetitively, the longer it feels like it is dragging out. So I started testing this out just to see, what that would feel like as far as being able to make sections of time, which has been phenomenal for that. And I also want to piggyback on what Debbie was saying as well. And thank you for saying this. I feel like we're raised where life is going to be balanced and there's going to be a lot of things, but you should be able to abso-freaking-lutely not. I like to say that life is like a symphony. And sometimes the trombone has to come forward and play, and sometimes the piano comes forward. And then sometimes there's things that are collaborating together. And I feel like that is our lives, especially as women and women that have children, right? Because now you have a whole nother aspect of another business that you have for life that you also have to incorporate as well. And, you know, when you were talking about the mental exhaustion, like the first thing I thought about was parents, or especially single moms, which I was for a really long time, and being able to handle all of the things with children and appointments and work and growing a business. And like Camille said, the mental load and exhaustion. And I think that it's really important for us to understand that we don't have to complete all the things every single day, right? If the dishes get left in the sink because you cooked and you're tired, nobody's going to die. And that was something I had to learn, you know, because I was like the clean fin. I'm like, oh, it has to be done right now. But you're so to the point of like, I need space for me, that I think it's very important to make sure that we create that space and understand that there's certain small things that need to be done that like, it's okay. You can do it in 24 hours. I can get up 30 minutes earlier and get some stuff done. But right now I need me time. And I think that we need to make sure we're making space for that as a whole before all the other things.
Yeah.
Love it. Anybody else? Thoughts? All good. Love it, Debbie. Thanks so much for bringing that. And yeah, I totally agree. Once we break it down like that, as far as the mental fatigue in conjunction with the perseverance, right? To be able to go long stretches of time if we're tired. So I want to ask Debbie, as we are closing up this topic, how do we keep from getting mentally exhausted?
So one of the best ways I feel like is stop multitasking.
Ooh.
I know this is going to shock you all, but the science shows that, let's say I'm doing an email and then the phone rings and I'm looking, let me do that text really quick. And then, you know what? I got to grab over here. We think we're multitasking and we're not. Our brain has to stop and go. And this gets more challenging with perimenopause and menopause. So it becomes more of a challenge. So really pocket. I turn off all distractions. If I'm doing emails, I'm doing emails, and then the email gets shut down and I don't look at that email or listen to a ding until my next project is done. And then I'm so scheduled with stuff like that to really create a very easy flow for me. Ooh. I'm not hopping from here to there. And when they did the studies on multitasking, same exact amount of work, but the stress level was so much lower. The brain fatigue. So you can go longer because you don't have that brain fatigue.
Love it.
Stop multitasking. Do one thing as much as we can. Sometimes I was a mother. I get it. But to the best of your ability, try to plan your life out and your business life out in that way.
Yeah, I like that you're saying it like that with that little asterisk there, because it does seem almost impossible. Somebody also told me, because I always used to say I was the queen of multitasking, and she actually was like, there is no such thing as multitasking. It's actually task switching.
Yes.
Because you can't do two things. It's actually impossible to do two things. What you're actually doing is you're doing a task and then you're switching and then you're doing another task. It's task switching. And then we were talking about time management, and she said the amount of time it takes you to go from one task to another task, it takes like 5 to 60 seconds to like recalibrate to what that task is to do it. And then when you switch back to the other task, it takes another 5 to 60 seconds or more to switch back to that other task that you were just doing. So to Debbie's point, you're actually saving time because you're not doing that little intersect between to be able to recalibrate on like, where was I before I got distracted. So,
and in that, one more, when in that, the study that shows also is that you perform better. So you're saving time and your performance is better.
Love it. Absolutely.
It's a win-win.
Love it. I just want to put a note out real fast to everyone who's listening live. We see you. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out with us. If you do have any comments, you can actually comment below this video on anything that we're talking about. I can pull it up on stage and we can actually have the ladies hang out and talk to you right here live if you'd like. If you are on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love after the effects when we are when we're sitting at home working. Joan Sensler, when you try to do too many things at once, especially if part of what you're doing is learning something new, it's very likely you won't remember the thing you were learning, not because you forgot it, but because your brain did not have time enough to focus on it to actually even form a memory. Girl, I love that. Absolutely. Any thoughts, Debbie?
Yeah, absolutely true. I was just reading something today about children. We, with our younger people, will go and talk to them, and we're like, we want them to respond. They can't even register what we said for 1 to 6 seconds.
Totally.
So, yeah. And when we're busy and we're doing, it's the same with us. Maybe, give us a minute, let the stuff process just a little bit, and that memory is going to be better.
Yeah, this is one thing I've learned with running groups. I'll be talking. I'll direct a question, and then there's like nothing, and there's no response, and it feels like it's freaking 6 minutes, even though it's only been like 2 seconds. But because of that was actually something that I did learn actually during this time of running groups, where they just got done like absorbing what you just said. Then you ask a question, so then they have to absorb the question and then think of the answer. It's like there's time that has to happen between all of that.
You talk about the pause all the time, which is one of my favorite things. It's exactly what you're doing. Give it a second. If I would have read that first thing about what we're talking about, that description all quick. Yeah. You'd be like, what the hell is this lady talking about?
Totally.
With the pause, you're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
I get that.
Exactly. So yeah. Love it. And just another emphasis on why the pause is so important for sure. All right. Next topic is about money. Money. I'm bringing this up because I actually had a really great conversation with a woman in my community. Her name is Amanda Bryant. We get together on Wednesdays in my community for a sales workshop where we talk about sales, we talk about marketing, we talk about money, we talk about network, basically numbers. And one of the things that I've been working on the ladies getting more comfortable with is talking actual numbers, right? Actual sales, actual people they've talked to versus a lot, right? Made a lot, hit the goal, did better than I thought I was going to do, talked to a few. Actual numbers. And her and I were having just a side conversation at some point recently. And she was stating that the more that I'm pushing her to talk about real numbers, the more numbers are coming into her world. So she's really benefiting off of being, I don't want to say forced, but being encouraged to talk about her actual numbers, like look up her actual numbers, state her actual numbers. She's becoming aware of the numbers, which then is helping her in business. So I found this article recently, why women dislike talking about money and what we can do about it. The stat that I thought was very interesting is a 2024 Intuit survey found that 27% of women, which I feel like it's way more than that, feel uncomfortable discussing money in social settings. Interestingly, this number rises among Gen X crowd, with a full 34% say they find it easier to discuss their sex life, agree, than their bank account. I have spent most of my life in a sales atmosphere. And when I say sales atmosphere, I say like hardcore. I was running sales offices, predominantly men, like 98% men. And we talked about money all the time. Like I would literally just go up to somebody and say, how much money did you make last week? And have no problem. And they would have no problem telling me or asking me. It didn't matter if they made $99 or if they made $3,997. It didn't matter. They would tell me how much they made that week. and an open discussion. How much did you make? How many sales did you make? How many? And it was just amongst, it wasn't a secret. It wasn't a side conversation, just in and amongst. And I always appreciated that because it was a way to encourage others to make more, right? When you know somebody's making money, it makes it available, for me at least, it makes it more tangible for me to also go out and make money, right? When you know that you're winning, it's easier to want to stay a winner. And I've been in sales offices literally my entire life, my entire career. I've been in sales offices. So when I moved to this sect of women, which I was not working with women, I was working with almost all men, with women, and now we're online businesses and now we're business coaches, right? It's different. It's so different. And I'm like confused. I'm like so confused as to why we're not talking about this. So anyways, I want to share Cody Sanchez. Cody Sanchez is one of my favorite women business owners in the whole world. Number one reason why I love her is because I saw her live, and within like 5 minutes of her speaking on stage in a beautiful yellow pixie dress, she dropped the F-bomb like 17 times. I just loved that. She was in front of like 3,000 people and she's just like, fuck. It was hilarious. And I just love her. So her business, just to kind of give you back context, is she invests in boring businesses. So she's not a coach, but what she found early on, I think she's in her late 30s, maybe. She found early on that people always want like this glitzy glamour, right? They want to like own a nail salon, or they want to be Tony Robbins, or whatever it is. And she actually found millions. She's a multimillionaire in boring businesses. She buys laundromats. She buys car washes. She buys vending machines. And it's all just boring businesses that you can't really brag about. And she has done very well for herself. She talks all about business and all about different ways of making money. And she talks about money openly and honestly. She loves numbers. And so I thought she would just be a great little smidge here to speak about before we open the conversation with you ladies, as far as, your thoughts on becoming more comfortable talking about money, the pros, the cons, stuff like that.
Fear. Make a big movement that gives you into abundance. And so that stuck with, don't make a protective small movement that makes you in fear. Make a big movement that gives you into abundance. And so that stuck with me for a long time.
I find it interesting as well, thinking about who talks about money, because men talk about money a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if women talk about money in private, but I know my male friends are all talking about their money, their investing, their investments, etc. And I wondered if there's any sort of gender difference you've observed, because you speak to so many people about gender differences as relates to money.
Well, a perfect example is our audience across socials is about 60 to 65% men. And I'm a woman. And yet it's actually quite hard to get women interested and engaged on these issues.
So interesting.
Mm-hmm. And so, I think a lot of women, first of all, they think it's a little cringe. Don't make a protect.
So just short and simple with her. I just absolutely adore her, but I'm kind of wanted your take, ladies, on where you are on having conversations open with spouses, on your own, with groups of people, talking about money. What are the pros of it? What are the cons of it? Is it cringe? Is this something that you're working on to become more comfortable, or does it not even matter to you? It's not even a thing in your world.
Yeah, Sabrina. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Camille.
I'll jump in because I think it has so much to do with the generation of the woman. Ooh. I think it's changed over time, because in the baby boomer silent generation, like money was so private and secretive. And I know I grew up in a family where bills didn't even come to the house. They went to my father's office. Like, he never spoke about money at any time. Wow. So we didn't speak about money, right? I think I'm Gen X, right? Growing up in the 80s, it was very much about like greed and stuff, right? So I think we do talk about money, but women also had a very different role than today. Right now, many of us are divorced or single moms, and we're growing our own businesses, especially the crowd we're talking to. So I know as a coach that getting people, especially women, to raise their prices and see that self-worth is a big part of their own money issues. But I think as we went into the millennials, there was a big shift towards transparency, open conversations about salaries and debt and side hustles and less shame. And Gen Z, where my kids are, they talk about money all the time. They use it as a tool, not really for, any type of moral judgment. And I was with one of my kids and my niece, and they just both graduate college 22, let's go 22, and 2022. And she was saying, oh, I got this new job. And mine just said, what are you getting paid per hour? Like, it was just boom. And I was like, ooh, that's a big question. And she answered, and I was like, wow, totally different, right? Totally different. Yeah. So I think a lot has to do with generational.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do it on purpose. I just think it's so important. Whoever wants to talk next, come right after me. I do it because I'm just not scared. I don't know, but on networking calls, depending on the person, but I'll ask people like how much they make for a sale, right? They'll be talking about a one-on-one, like a group coaching session. I'll be like, how much do you charge for that?
I do.
And they'll say whatever. They'll be like 1,997. And then I'll be like, how many of those do you sell a month? Yep. Right. So like, it's not saying how much do you make per month, but I'm calculating that shit. Right. So they'll tell me, I don't know. And you don't even know if they're telling the truth, but they'll be like 3. I make about 3, and I'll do the math right there. I'll be like, oh, wow. Okay. So cool. So let me just do that really fast. So 199, and they'll just sit there. I'll be like 1,997 times 3. So you're making about $6,000 a month. Is that right? Yeah. Right. So just to get them comfortable with like, it's what is going on.
Well, I also think, and this goes with a lot of business owners, right? And I don't even think it's just women. Because I used to be a sales coach way back, right? Decades ago. And I used to, every single person that walks in goes, I want to make 6 figures. I want to make 6 figures. People still do it today, 6 figures. It's like that golden number. And I'm like, great, you can pick any number you want, but let's work into that. How many packages? What is every single month, what you have to make, right? And backing into what is possible. What is your net? What is your gross? A lot of women just don't know how money works, right? Absolutely. So it's a big part of when you can measure it, you can manage it, right? It's just not like, it's also, and I'm sure you do this when you talk and you teach people, how many offers are you making? How many leads are coming in? How many conversations are you having, right? All numbers you need to know in your business. Yeah. And so I think it's not just money, it's numbers and understanding how money is a tool in your life.
Love it.
It's not just conversation. They just don't know.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll kind of piggyback off of what Camille said. I'm a baby boomer. And in my house, you never spoke about money. And if you did, you were in trouble. It's like, so that's been a hard thing. And I credit H Club for helping me with that. I hate Wednesdays, but I love Wednesdays because that's when we share our, talk about our money and our networking and what we brought in and what we sold and all that. Every Wednesday morning, I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I'm there every Wednesday.
Yes.
But I love the fact that I'm being encouraged to talk about it and get comfortable with it in my mid-60s. Yeah. So I think it's important for women to find communities that they can do that in and learn.
Yeah, definitely. That kind of reminded me of when you were saying that is sports. More men, I think, play sports than women. It actually reminds me of golf. My son plays golf a few times a week. And when you're doing a sport, somebody is losing in front of somebody, right? So like the shame or whatever, like I was kind of skimming this article while you ladies were talking, and part of it is just the shame, right? They don't necessarily want to say when they're not doing well because it's like shameful. It'll like look bad on them. Men are constantly putting them in situations like that. Like my son will come home from golf and be like, I totally freaking beat everybody. And then other days he'll come home, he'll be like, dude, it was horrible. It was so bad. And I broke my club, or I lost my club, or just totally just lost, right? Lost 7 balls. That's never happened, but something like that. But because they put themselves purposely in situations, basketball, baseball, golf, where they lose in front of a group of people and they still have to like pick up their pants and like drive and like go home. And then they also win in front of a group of people. That's a lot of things I think women aren't doing, right? We're not in front of a group of people like winning or losing or seeing what that feels like to be like defeated. Oh, so it hurts so bad. And then still show up the next day, right? My son still shows up with the same group of people to like golf the next week, even though he totally lost that week. We're not practicing that as women on how to do that, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, or however often dudes play pickleball or whatever, and be a good sport. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on this one as well, because I want to take it from a different perspective, which is kind of all the things that have been not out there for us as women as long as it has been for men, right? For the longest time, we were supposed to be modest. We were supposed to be polite. Those are not the conversations that we had. And if you really look back into women's rights and things like that, we didn't actually have a law put in on us being able to actually get our own credit card until 1974. Okay, now think of how many years prior to that they did whatever they wanted because lenders were able to gender discriminate, or you had to have your husband sign off on it for you, right?
Totally.
So now, even though 1974, we've created this act, how many people have been doing it for so long that it takes years before we actually start to see a bigger improvement to where we are able to obtain credit and we are able to build things sustainably? Well, and then you have the Fair Housing Act as well. So the Fair Housing Act didn't come in until 1968. So again, now think of how many years that it took because people were used to being able to discriminate, and we're probably still doing that behind closed doors and in sneaky ways because they had done it for so long. So for years in this arena, women have been kind of suppressed from being able to have those conversations openly, right? Think about the traditional way of marriage for the longest time. And there's some people that still do that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but where the husband's the one that handles all the finances. Oh, well, he's the one that has the bank information. Oh, yeah, he pays the bills. Well, honey, what do you do if he passes away? You have zero clue where anything's at, what is in your account, how you would pay your stuff off. Like there are so many stipulations that I feel like have been held over women for so much longer than men, because it's always been kind of a man's world. They've been able to boast about things and talk about things where we're just now kind of getting in the space to be able to freely do that. But again, we still are taught, and I'm a millennial. I'm at the cusp of being closer to the Gen X, but I'm at that cusp where we should have been kind of pushing things. We still didn't talk about money. I didn't know how a credit card operated. And we had finance class when I was in school, right? We had the old ledgers where you used your checkbook and stuff and wrote things down. It wasn't something I learned until years later, because it just wasn't a conversation. And again, even in my family, my mom was the one that stayed home with 3 girls. My dad's the one that worked. I didn't want to be that way, but guess what? I wasn't set up to be that very independent person because that's just not how the family dynamic went. So think of things in regards to that, where your family dynamic has been one way. So that's how you were kind of raised, but then you decide to do different. Now it's a whole nother realm of unlearning and learning and figuring all the things out on top of being a woman. Like there are so many things that get stacked in this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So good.
Yeah, there's another part of that I think is important is as business owners, women will equate how much they're making to their value, to what they're worth, and how good they are in what they do. But they're two completely different things.
Absolutely.
We talked about this before, I think, in another episode. I'm an incredible health coach, badass. I am not excellent at sales. I'm not excellent at certain business things, right? I have to learn that. I have to hire people. So because I'm not great at sales, now I'm 10 years in, so I've overcome that part. But at the beginning, right, when you're starting out, and so these women, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not good in business. I'm not good at this. I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing because I can't make good sales. I'm not making enough cash. well, no, you're really, really great at what your line of joy is. You're great at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just need to learn some of these other things.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to separate those two things as business owners.
Yep. Absolutely. That's actually the premise of H Club and how it was started, is that it is two different things. People leave corporate, they're all excited. They start up a business, that they're passionate about, and then they don't know how to sell. And they base their business and how good they are as a coach is the amount of sales that they've actually taken in. And they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Two totally separate entities. Love that, Debbie. Very, very cool. To kind of segue, from this conversation, as far as what Debbie actually just brilliantly brought up, goes into a lot of what we hear about within the realm of entrepreneurship, and that is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, right? The reason that people don't, Camille was talking about pricing things correctly. So I'd love to kind of dive into this. I have a really quick Instagram reel to show here on imposter syndrome for maybe those that maybe don't quite know what it is. And then, let's dive into this. Let's see. Let's get the volume up first.
Doubt yourself. There's a cognitive bias called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Basically,
Oh, I missed it
when you
again.
doubt yourself, there's a cognitive bias called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Basically, unskilled people are more likely to overestimate their ability. The opposite of this is where we have highly skilled people who are more likely to doubt themselves. And this is what we find with imposter syndrome, where professionals who are perfectly capable and have a great track record of performance underestimate themselves and feel undeserving of success. So next time you're feeling like an imposter or riddled with self-doubt, remind yourself of your achievements and the fact that you've worked hard to be where you are. Did you know
Love it.
that?
I kind of want to talk about two things here. So first of all, imposter syndrome and what that is, and touch on whatever you want to touch on, but imposter syndrome and what that is, which I feel like she gave a really good example of that. And then also like being new, right? I remember when I first started in the coaching arena, and I had a really awesome coach that I paid like a lot of money to. And she was telling me, don't ever charge yourself. Don't ever charge anything. Doesn't matter what it is or how many, whatever you're doing, never charge under $2,000 because you're bringing all the coaches down, right? If you're like undercutting everybody, then the entire like coaching industry just starts collapsing. If everyone's just charging so little, then we're all just undercutting each other. And there was a point where I was making no sales. And the reason why was because I was so new and I didn't feel comfortable charging $2,000. I couldn't even say $2,000 with my mouth at that point. I didn't even know how to say $2,000 in the coaching arena, right? I could say it all day long in other arenas. Because I didn't know what I was doing. So I actually like blocked my coach from all of my social media. And the first thing that I put out there to sell, like, because nothing else was working, was something so cheap. I did $500. It was a $500 package, and it was 15 sessions. So it was $33. Yeah, $33 a session. But girl, I freaking killed it. I got like 10 sales right off the bat within the first like 2 weeks. And what happened is I started to get confidence around being able to say I had 4 clients, 5 clients, 6 clients, 7 clients, even though they weren't making me very much money. So then I could easily raise my rates to $1,000 because now I could say, hey, listen, I'm working with 10 clients right now. If you want to come in, it's only $1,000. Then I could raise it to $1,500. Then I could raise it to $2,000. So I do think that there is a difference between like just being ready, right? Like we need to like get our wings ready before we like jump out of the nest, right? And then also imposter syndrome. So wherever you kind of want to take that, but I think that there is a difference, right? We have to know where we are on the spectrum and not give any excuses, and then kind of roll according to what's going on. Anybody have anything on this?
I love your story. I unmuted to say, oh my God, did you have exhaustion from all of that is a lot of sessions.
Yes.
But I love how you gave yourself confidence to keep going, right? I just had a conversation with a girlfriend who's not a client, that has been charging the same thing for a while and is full. And I was like, why are you not like increasing your prices? And she's like, I'm afraid they'll leave. Right. But that's imposter syndrome, right? We usually see it when we scale. I still go through it and I have to check in with myself. Like, okay, you know, we've had these cases, we've had results, we've had like, it's time to go to the next level. And sometimes it's leaving some people behind, and that's just part of it. But
Yeah.
I love the way you did it. But I also wanted to acknowledge in the TikTok that you showed us, or the video that you showed us, the first effect that she mentioned, people with no ability. That I was like, I gotta read up on that one, because we see that in the coaching industry all the time.
Absolutely.
And they're charging ridiculous prices. They have great sales skills.
Yeah.
People are going in, and I actually started to use that as one of my sales line. Like, if you've worked with other coaches that haven't gotten you results, those are usually the people that come to me next.
I love it.
Right? So, because it happens so much. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, that I love your analogy there. I remember I was listening to a podcast, a sales podcast, and they were giving an example of they went to one of their clients, same thing, was like fully booked, and they were like, well, what if you double your prices? And he's like, well, if I double my prices, then I'd lose half my clients. And then it was kind of like a silence of like, do you see it there? Do you see what just happened?
Like the same amount.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But it like took us all like a few seconds, like of a pause, right? We're talking about the pause of a pause for us to like get the joke of like, oh, you literally make the same amount.
And that goes back to our money discussion right before this, like knowing your numbers.
Yes. Love it. Great, Camille. Anybody else?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to ask the audience or the listeners, it's like, how dare you think that you can skip the imposter syndrome stage? We're all going to go through it in whatever is new to us, whether it's dating or starting a business or, parenting, right? I mean, we all have it, and we're always going to have it if we're stepping outside of our comfort zone, which we should be doing on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Great reminder. Anybody else?
Yeah. One of the things that when I think about imposter syndrome is how it showed up for me was when I was creating a course or content. I'm going to give everything I know on one, in each course. It would be, someone would die before they could go through this course. Right. And so that was part of my imposter syndrome. And I realized that. And I think it's just like what that Dunning-Kruger talks about. I think everybody knows what I know, but they don't. I think when I start talking about health and all the different aspects of it, you already know that, so it's not enough information. But in fact, we need to know 10% more than who we're teaching. And if we know 90% more than who we're teaching, then we can play with that much of that area. But I think that was a piece for me, imposter syndrome. That's how it showed up. I wanted to just, vomit on them all of the information that I had. And I really had to learn the hard way that it's too much. But that was because of imposter syndrome, trying to prove myself. Yeah.
Love it. If anybody has anything else, we'll get to you right before we sum up here. Joan, before we head out, ironically, the original research we just did by two female psychologists in the 70s on imposter syndrome actually studied exceptionally smart, incredibly successful, high-achieving women who had broken the glass ceiling in many places, but were unable to see that about themselves. And some of the conclusions from this research were that one of the main reasons that women were less confident about themselves and felt like imposters was what they were living and working in a man's world. I feel like that might have been voice to text there. Anybody on that?
Actually, that kind of leads into what I wanted to say, which was, you know, in the video that you were showing, she was talking about how people that don't have skills are, you know, out there doing all kinds of stuff, but people that are skilled aren't. And there's actually a study, and I wish I could remember the numbers, where that actually happens when it comes to men and women. They will say that when people are putting in resumes for jobs, men will look at the qualifications and be like, oh yeah, I can figure that out, and will apply for a job that they do not have the qualifications for. Yet a woman will look at that and go, oh, well, I don't have this, so I can't apply for that. So it's really interesting. It goes back to kind of that gender piece as well, as like what we were taught growing up, what we have been taught over years and decades of who we are, and how you see it in the corporate world that like men will put in. And I'm guilty of this. Like I remember looking at different qualifications going, well, I mean, I haven't done that yet. Instead of going, well, I could figure that out. That's no big deal. You know, so I think it's also that we downplay ourselves as well, because especially women have more of that perfectionism behind them, where we're supposed to be modest and know all the things, to have it all together. And so when we don't, then we're like, oh, well, then I can't do this because of X, Y, Z.
I actually looked that up, Kat, because I was the same way like you. And it was men apply for roles when they meet 60% of the criteria.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Women closer to 100%.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Right? Thank you, Kat, because I forgot I wrote that down.
Yeah, so good. Great feedback. Anything else before this was great.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted, because of this imposter syndrome, this is why you need community.
Okay.
This is why you belong to H Club. This is why you need to have a community, right? Work with Camille, these women that are supporting women and having those friendships like that, right? Like I was in my story where I was afraid to go over to sign up as a speaker, but they saw me.
Yeah.
They saw me.
Yeah.
And when they saw me, I was, wait a minute, I see me too.
Yes.
We need each other.
Yes. I love it. Going back to even the very first video of the fish, right? It's like you're reeling that in. And so many times we're like reeling stuff in and then we get scared. We're like, oh my gosh, let's just cut it. Let's just cut the cord. I don't know what's going on. What if it's a shark? You know, get out the scissors. But because those women were like, yes, let's go. What is it? Keep rolling. She even at one point was like, my wrist is going to fall off. And they're like, just keep going.
Yeah.
So many times, right, where we halt, you know, we break, we want to stop, we want to cut the cord. And to Debbie's point, when you're in a community, even here, right, we're getting together every Monday at 3 p.m. We're realizing like, wow, damn, we're all going through similar things. We all have similar stories. We all like, even just small stuff like this is just so important for us to remember. Like, hey, listen, yes, we're all like in our office by ourselves, you know, working, you know, our businesses, but we're together, right? We're together, working together on our businesses, and we're building, and we're here for each other. You know, when we do reach out and need some support, mental, emotional support. So this was a great episode. One of the things that I really appreciated about this, and I think as we continue, for those of you listening live, thank you for being here, is feeding off of the previous story. I just thought it was so cool. It just worked out so well today. And I just really appreciate you ladies. I really appreciate you ladies coming on this journey with us, doing these panels, and really understanding the assignment, really just understanding the assignment of having open conversation. We have so many women, men, who knows, listening live right now. And when we can start to have these conversations and start to realize that we're all going through similar things, I think it all just brings us back together and keeps us rolling forward. So thank you for joining us today for this powerful Monday Roundtable. We explored some crucial topics, from the importance of building a supportive community to the science of cognitive fatigue and overcoming imposter syndrome. Remember that understanding our challenges and embracing these conversations is key to unlocking our potential as women entrepreneurs. Keep pushing forward, stay connected, and let's